Hello and welcome to ESO Creators number 3. So today we're going to be talking to Caelnir. Okay, so hello Caelnir.
Hello.
So first of all, how long have you been playing the game?
I've been playing for a little bit over three years actually.
3 years.
Me.
And what else do you like to do other than housing in ESO?
Well, actually, I used to be into only one or two things in MMOs, but ESO was the only MMO that got me into pretty much everything. I'm doing PvE, role playing, PvP, housing, achievement hunting, like various
That's good.
things.
So you do a bit of everything.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, and this is the Hall of Galunian Champion. Does it have a name, this house?
I didn't really have a name for this. I just always imagined to have my own outlaw refuge.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
And as you're probably seeing, my inspirations always comes from the things that I see. Like I don't really like to create anything from scratch. Like I do, but I don't. I like to stay loyal to ESO style.
Yeah,
So if I'm seeing something in game, okay, I'm thinking how can I improve it? How can I add to it?
yeah.
And this house actually shaped through the loading screen art that I saw when I went to Rimmen Outlaw Refuge.
Ah, so you got inspired by the in-game loading screen?
Yes, I just saw the art there and I was like, okay, I want something like this. And I started to search for the house where I can create something like that. And of course, this house was my first pick.
That's really interesting.
Some people notice it as they see the pillars in the middle because
Oh
that's how they
yeah.
were placed in that Rimmen Outlaw Refuge.
Have
And
you
of course,
used? Oh, sorry. Carry on.
I was just saying, and the rest of the place is mostly me improvising.
It's absolutely amazing. Is it only the middle room you've used, not the portals?
Yes, all 700 slots are in the first
That's really
room.
cool.
Well, I like to go in detail, and I was like, okay, 700 slots is gonna be more than enough to capture the feeling that I want to have.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anybody use all of the slots just in the middle. That's really cool.
Before I made this house, I haven't really seen it either. But after that, I started to see more and more people trying it out.
Mm.
I just wanted to take advantage of every corner as much as I can.
Yeah, it's really detailed. It's lovely. Very cool. It looks so big as well. This middle room looks huge with all of this in it. Usually it looks tiny.
I hear this very often because people say that this house has a TARDIS effect. Like
Yeah,
it looks so small when it's empty, but when you start spacing it with different furnishings, it starts just feeling bigger and bigger because the ceiling is actually quite high. So it lets you build second level.
it does. It feels
Yeah.
enormous. That tiny room.
Um, that's why I want to choose this place because I could just uh, put some ladders or stairs that could let me go higher.
Yeah,
As this place is supposed to be in the sewers, so
it does look like that. What have you used here for the doorway?
it's actually elsewhere walls curved ones.
Mm.
If you put them sideways and tilt it a bit, and then combine two of them in the middle, you can create this 180 arc.
That's really cool.
And of course, those tiny little corners one
Ah,
could need.
this is so cool. You made this, didn't you? Is that a cart? One of those little wheelbarrows?
Yeah, it was supposed to be one of those grinders,
Yeah,
to sharpen your blades.
it looks really cool. For a second, I was like, I wonder if I missed that on the looks under.
Actually, I got the idea of I can't remember who. The person used this cart as a grinder, but he placed it into a counter, and I was like, okay, I want something that looks like
Yeah.
one of those in Skyrim. Could sit
Mm.
on it and use the grinder itself. So I just tried it on a bench, and seems to be fitting.
Yeah, it looks so cool.
That part is, as you can see, like some kind of rug shop, like cloth here.
Mm.
I kind of wanted to use this Argonian piece here that has red shapes on it
Mm.
because it looks like someone was designing the patterns on the carpet.
Ah, yeah, that is cool.
It could be used in that way.
Yeah, that is really cool. It just goes on forever, this place.
Yep.
It goes on forever. There's so much here.
I'm actually gonna also point out something later on about this
Okay,
part
okay.
because I changed it a little bit for pretty much everyone can see this without a trouble because this room used to be blocked.
Ah,
You had to climb through the window to get here. But of
yeah,
course, not many people could find it, so I just opened the gate for now. Show it later on.
yeah. That's quite cool that it was hidden. But yeah, I guess what I know what you mean. People come here and they can't find it. It's quite annoying.
Yeah. Usually, one of the questions that I get often is also how some of those places looks like someone was living here. Like it
Mm,
looks realistic.
yeah.
How you manage that kind of feeling?
Mm.
Uh, well, a lot of people think that's a skill or something, but not really skill. It's just maybe I'm a little bit too obsessive and thinking a bit too much over it. But when I'm placing items, let's say on the table,
Mm.
I'm actually sitting here and thinking, okay, if I had a drink, which side I would place it. So since I'm
Ah,
using my right hand, it should be on the right side.
mm, yeah.
And if so, okay, what would be on my left side? It could be a bottle or book. It should be on the left. Things like
Mm,
that. So it kind
yeah.
of shapes the items on the table where they are standing.
Ah, that's really cool.
Yeah, it
That's a good
maybe could
idea.
give other people
Yeah, definitely. That's
different approach on how to place items in a immersive way.
mm, yeah, that's a really handy tip.
Yeah, so you gotta be really putting yourself in the character's shoes, whoever is
Mm,
here, thinking what people do here and where they would place their bags and things like that.
yeah.
I guess it's some kind of mindset that I have from role playing.
Yeah, probably. It's really good though. Like, it's made your house absolutely wonderful.
It really helps because I'm pretty much doing all my houses with thinking, okay, this should be a house people can use for some kind of scenario.
Yeah.
So every item is placed in that way.
I love the view from up here. On the
Yeah,
balcony.
thanks to the elsewhere lanterns, they give really cool vision, also really nice dim lighting without being too bright.
It looks almost foggy, even though it's not.
Actually, there's a fog.
Is there? What is that? The
Yeah,
mist?
yes.
That's why then. I was just trying. I was just looking, thinking,
Yeah, I don't know why. It doesn't add too much, maybe, but I really liked it there.
yeah,
And
it does look really nice.
since we have a little sensor here, smoking, it could make a sense. And in closed areas like this, usually people smoke, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of gives a really, humid place feeling.
Yeah. How long did it
And
take you to build this?
it took me like 2 or 3 days.
Wow, really?
But But well, it sounds short, but when I started, I pretty much don't stop until I finish. So I
Mm.
end up with spending like 7, 8 hours in one day just building.
Wow.
I think it also helps that I craft pretty much everything myself. So
Mm.
if I'm planning something, I just put my crafting stations next to me and start crafting.
Mm.
That saves me some time.
Yeah, that's good. Do you not run out of materials and have to go farming?
Yeah. Oh, of course. As soon as I'm done with a house, next thing I do is collecting materials from scratch once again until I have enough.
You could just explore this place for like hours. It's like never ending. There's so much here.
And one of the things that I also consider always when building something like this, uh, there is a really little sweet like balance point where you need to be careful about making everything simple, but also intriguing in an like kind of confusing way. Like I'm actually giving a lot of paths to walk, like on the left side, here on like on the
I love the
exit part,
crane. That's really cool.
and across the platform you had that little room. Like as you may have noticed, the levels are same, but areas are different.
Yeah.
So that kind of helps the place get rid of from the repetitive feeling, so you don't really get bored of okay, this place is the same one with the one across. So it kind of helps me to keep it interesting. Like
Yeah.
okay, oh, there's this, there's that, and of course I had to consider what outdoor refuge could have, like little sleep and those little tables for people to hang out or gamble.
Cute.
And unlike many other people, I don't like using essential housing tools. So
Yeah.
um, everything you see here is like placed by like manually.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
I think that also makes the place a little bit more alive.
Yeah, I agree. I think it makes things look more realistic when they're not placed completely straight.
Yeah, because humans are not perfect people. Like you
Mm.
can't really hang like you can't really hang a tarp perfectly like perfectly balanced. Like
Yeah.
always one part could be hanging a bit too much, or some corner could be a little bit too tight.
Yeah.
So that lets me manipulate the area as I wish.
I really like this area here. Where there's like you can look down there at all of the moon sugar.
Yeah, of course. There's our alchemist guy down below working on this. And of course, every outlaw refuge typical corner.
This really does feel like a thief den. It's just amazing that you built it, really. Like, it does feel like this is actually just part of the game. It doesn't feel like somebody's built this.
Yeah, I think I was kind of surprised when I achieved that too. Like, okay, this looks like a place in the game
Mm.
because that was my goal, and I think one of the I will be probably talking about it a lot because I think I'm doing well when it comes to using lighting.
Yeah, definitely.
Like like, for example, in this painting room, I was calculating like, okay, if I put the candle on this left side, how many paintings it actually lights, or sometimes if I'm putting the candle too close to the painting, it was creating that weird reflecting that
Mm.
makes you blind. So I was putting the enough, distance between them. And
Yeah.
usually people tend to put a lot of lighting sources so people can see everything, but actually people don't need to see everything clearly.
Mm. Like, you can see everything in here, but some parts are darker, but that's, like, more real as well, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Should shouldn't be afraid of leaving some places darker than other corners. And
Yeah.
I really like those candle lights flickering, so I think it
Yeah,
adds
it's
to the
pretty.
atmosphere.
Yeah. These columns actually come with the house, they don't know these ones.
The big ones comes with the house, yes, but
Yeah.
actually you can craft them as well if you want.
Mm.
But of course, I had to uh, adapt to the columns because I can't remove them.
Yeah, they look great there though.
Yeah, they're like bigger supports of the sewer.
Mm.
And of course, you are probably could guess that I was hiding those tablet altars inside crates and walls, so you can't really see them.
Oh, right, yeah. What, the portals?
Yeah, the stones that you put on the altars, so it opens the portals.
Mm.
One of them is hidden next to the crate.
Is it? Oh, right, yeah, one of those filler things.
Yeah,
Mm.
and yeah, that is kind of a little auction area where
Ah,
people kind of sell or buy their stolen goods.
oh, that's cool. Poor salamander.
And since I kind of went with the elsewhere theme, I thought it would be fitting to place a throne there,
Mm.
like some kind of thief king, or I don't know.
Yeah, Lord of the
Oh,
Thieves.
yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
exactly.
Ooh.
It, maybe it sounds a little bit like unrelated, but one of the things that also inspired me to do this was one of the arts that I saw in Elder Scrolls Legends card game.
Ah,
I saw an art there with a Khajiit sitting on the throne. I was
yeah.
like, okay, maybe that Khajiit was actually sitting here, so I should do that.
Yeah, that is really cool. I love the tent there as well and the curtain.
Which one?
This Redguard tent.
Oh, yeah.
with the curtain underneath and the skull above it. And it's like loads of things all just layered together. It looks brilliant.
Yeah, I was quite experimental with it. Wasn't really sure if I should put it or not, but ended up just using both.
Hmm.
Like even the reason I put the red curtains there, maybe what if the action was happening when our Lord is not here, so they will close the curtains and continue.
Ah, yeah,
It
that is
should be
cool.
kind of a private area, I thought, so it should be separated when needed.
Yeah, that is really cool. Well, she's even got a little hammer. That's so cute.
Oh, of course, you gotta always need something to hit the gong.
Oh, that's cool. Is this like supposed to be a sewer entrance to here? What
Yeah,
did you use to make it so black behind?
it's one of those. I think it's the biggest rug that you can buy from Cold Harbor
Ah, it's a
housing
rug.
vendor. Yeah, if you use the bottom of it, you can actually achieve the pitch black look.
That's really cool. 'Cause it wasn't that long ago we were trying to figure out something that was pitch black, and we were like looking at all different tables and everything. So that's amazing. It's the
If
achievement
you
rug, is it?
no, wait, I'm not sure, but I don't think it's an achievement one.
Oh, okay.
It should be one of those cheap ones you buy.
Oh, and you just turn it upside down. That's so
Yeah,
handy.
yeah, exactly. I thought the place wasn't feeling like a sewer too much because I didn't have much indicators that could tell this is underground. I had the entrance, but apart from that, not many things. So I felt like adding those gates so people would know this is not the only entrance you can get in because there are also back doors.
Yeah, that is really cool. My dog's snoring. Sorry if you hear that. Ah, I like the little sleeping area here as well around the corner.
Yeah, it's. I think those corners are kind of center of sewers because it's also another thing that shows not everyone here is living in equal conditions. There were actually some more comfortable beds in that planning room, but there are also those ground beds for more common thieves or beggars. I don't know.
Yeah, that's really cool. Wow, I love this house. It's amazing. It's like, yeah, it does look like it's from the game, and you could explore it for just hours.
I think one of the things that also changed the house quite a lot is the elsewhere wooden platforms that I'm standing on, making half of the house with wooden surface gave it a different vibe. So I would definitely recommend trying change the floor as well.
Yeah, it does definitely look great.
And I'm not sure, but we have a little in room here. I'm not sure if you've been visiting it.
I think I've been in here. Yeah, I did. Yeah,
Okay.
I've been in here. I was having a look at this cold.
I couldn't follow. But yeah, that house is pretty much it. And I think this house is probably the only main house that people know me with. Because I don't know why, but it got way more attention than I thought it would. Because
I can see why though. It's incredible. It's absolutely amazing.
one of the things I also do a lot, I guess some other friends of mine do that as well. When I'm building something, I always run to the entrance like this,
Yeah.
and I'm checking, okay, what will be the first impression people will get? Is it impressive enough? Or if everything looks right in their place. If it doesn't, then I change it. And then I go change it, and then I go back to the entrance, see, okay, if it's gonna be like creating that wow effect when people enter,
Yeah, it definitely does. I have to
like
have a
we,
look at that screenshot because I don't really 100% know which one you mean, but this does look like that
yeah, you
artwork.
should. Well,
That,
this one looks a little bit more detailed than the screenshot probably, and
yeah, probably.
Riemann Outlaw Refuge is quite big with a way higher ceiling.
Mm.
Wish I could have that place, but since I didn't have, I just made a more cozy version of it.
Yeah, it's really great. So is that everything in this house?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Should we move on to
Oh,
your next one? Oh, is there
I could
something else?
actually, I could actually show that one last thing.
Yeah, of course.
Normally, this gate was here closed.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want people to sneak up to the planning room because that's kind of a private area.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to get in there, you would have to figure out your way up with a little bit of thieving skills through this roof.
Okay. I'll try. I'm not very good at this parkour stuff.
Blocking usually helps to get your angle, but you don't really have
Okay.
to do it. You just also watch. You could just, yeah, and then jump through the window to get access to the second floor. That was
Ah,
my
I see
initial
the window there. Yeah, that is so cool.
it was my initial plan to access this area, but
Oh,
since only few people managed it, I was like, okay, maybe I should open the main gate and let more people discover it.
yeah. It is really cool though. It's such a cool idea. I can't get back out of the window. Oh, there we go.
But yeah,
Ah, it's really
I,
cool.
I
It's
like to those little games, especially if it's an outlaw refuge. There should be some
it makes
game
it really
skills.
fun, definitely.
Yeah, I could port to my second one.
AK?
This is uh, also a house. Well, to be honest, I should say this first. One of the questions that I get asked is, "Hey, do you plan your houses first, or do you furnish them as you go through?" But as I said for the Hall of Lunar Champion, I always get the idea first. Okay, what I want to create, what my story will be, and
Yeah.
then I'm checking things that could be close to it. Are there anything created with that theme? I'm checking the arts. I'm checking even movies, and as I get my plan done, then I'm reporting to the house that I decided on, and I'm thinking, okay, where I'm gonna build my bridge, where I'm gonna build my mine, where I'm gonna build my house. And before I start finishing, 90% of the picture is done in my head already. I think that speeds up the finishing process.
Definitely, yeah.
As
Because
I
I
said,
feel like if you haven't got a plan as well, it always goes a little bit like wrong, and you end up not finishing it. I think that's my experience anyway.
yeah, I could probably work around it, but for the whole like Hall of Lunar Champion, as I said, my first impression was to get the same feeling from that loading screen art. And for this one, the huge inspiration for me was one of the imperial camps that my friend created. Also,
I don't
playing
think
in
I've
EU.
seen this house, have I?
You probably did, but I'm not sure. For this house, the idea was to also create an imperial camp. I had those tents waiting in my bank for ages, so I had to use them sometime. And this, I was like, okay, this is my opportunity to use them finally. And the idea starts to shape around having create an imperial camp, but I had to make it interesting. So it had to be more than a camp. I was like, okay, what they would be doing with that camp. And the first idea I got was like, okay, there will be mine. They will be working in that mine, and then maybe Imperials will be like guarding the workers here, or just keeping the trade route safe.
Yeah, that's a really cool idea. Is this the mine in here?
Yeah, it's a small one, but I think it kind of it's mainly done to serve to the purpose of having that picture done as you enter the house. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I had to put there something interesting for people to at least take a look around a little bit for going further.
It's really cool. I love
Because
the way
I'm
this
not.
platform's built into the rocks. It looks really great.
Yeah. I think every mine needs a little bit of resting space. So, and I
Really
thought
cool.
it would be a glass mine, which I think makes it a little bit more interesting to guard at least.
What are these pillars with the rope tied around them?
I could actually move them and show you like this.
Okay. Thank you.
They are those rimen.
Ah, the spike things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's
If
so
you
cool.
if you combine two of them against each other, you get a pretty cool support looking. It has
Yeah.
ropes around it and details with those metal pieces, metal nails on them.
Yeah, that looks really good.
They can be used for a lot of things.
Is
So
that
this
what
is
you've
one.
used this? You've used them for this as well?
For this one, it is upside down. This.
Oh, that one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
That
half
makes
of
more sense.
the furnishing is in the ground actually.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So yeah. Uh, Also, another trick, maybe it could be helpful for others that I used here, is this
Yeah.
the shovel. Normally, there is no shovel in the game, which annoyed me a lot.
Ah, yeah. See, that is really cool.
This is actually a lumberjack axe,
Mm.
but I put it in a right angle so it looks like
Yeah.
kind of a shovel in the dirt.
Yeah, that is really cool.
And the only reason that lantern is there, this place gets really dark during nighttime. So when I put the lantern here, it gives like a really nice reflections on the shovel or also on the banner, which was my two main focus points for the entrance.
Yeah, that's cool. This just looks like somewhere in the game again, honestly. You're really good at doing that. Like making things look like they fit.
Yeah, sometimes people think that I throw a simple item there randomly, but there's more thought going behind it.
And you see that in the game too, don't you? Like when you see skeletons there and they've got all of this stuff around them, you can kind of see what's
Yeah,
happened to them.
exactly.
I can't even believe
And
this is Caelnir Estate. Where's the house? Is it behind these rocks?
yep, they are all behind the rocks, but we'll have a small glimpse of them later on
Okay.
because it will be adding to our scenery later.
Oh, I
And
love
of
the
course,
wheel on the floor here. That's great. Like it's fallen off.
yeah, another thing that I like doing is making people wonder, like, okay, what happened here? Is this card got attacked or is it just broken? Uh,
Mm.
it's just a little two-slot item that makes you just stop and think, okay, you know,
Yeah.
it's simple, but it's effective.
Yeah, it's cool. A little mystery.
And of course, I want to keep that dense forest feeling.
The
With a
stable's
little,
cute.
it's a little one that serves the purpose.
Mm.
I wasn't really sure if I should build a stable here or something else, but the ground here kind of continues to this part, the stone floor.
Mm.
So I wanted to use it. Like, if I put a tree here, it wouldn't make sense because I don't like putting a tree on a stone surface.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I will just build a stable and it should still look natural.
Mm. It's really cool. It kind of looks like someone's just propped it up, like there's a camp. It fits in with the
Yeah,
camp thing. Ah,
and
it's a camp.
and then finally you arrive to the camp.
It looks very imperial.
Well, as we know, Imperials don't really have their uh, own lands.
Mm.
We tend to see them with those forts, camps more often.
I really like this, where you put the spikes on here, like that. Is that the elsewhere floor?
Yeah, that's the dock item that you get from
Oh, the dock.
Koralka furnishing vendor, and then the spikes behind it are the ones from by in Riften. Sorry, Rimmen.
Yeah, they look really cool.
So yeah, for me, building a camp wasn't enough. Like, it shouldn't have been done with only tents, but
Mm.
a little bit more stuff going on around because it had to feel like it's a little establishment now.
Yeah, I love these. They're so cute.
And probably another little detail, but putting one of the buckets on ground kind of makes it look like someone was training on this, and then it's quite hard, so it dropped.
Oh, that's so cool. I wish we actually had training dummies that look like that. That's so cute.
Yeah. So another of those items that we had to improvise and create our own.
Mm.
And of course, you can also climb to this tower. I like to make my structures retractable. Like, if I'm making a tower, you should be able to get on it. If I'm making a bridge, you should probably be able to cross it. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes to add to the scenery, I'm making those fake houses or fake buildings as well, but I'm trying to avoid it as much as I can.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you can hear, but also atmosphere sounds really adds to the house here. Lots of birds chirping. You hear lots of forest noises.
Yeah. Very nice.
So
This dog is so cute. Is he drinking out of the laundry bowl? Sorry.
he's probably waiting for his food.
Ah, this is like a butcher's tent, I see. Or like they've been cutting meat or something in here. Very nice. I love how you've built the roof on this structure here.
Yeah, we've been playing with a friend about ideas to make structures like this, like which items we can use. And he came up with an idea of using those dock items.
Yeah.
He placed it in a way that you can create little like shacks. And I was like, okay, what if you make a roof with them? And then this happened.
What is it made out of? The docks?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
right, yeah, there is.
again,
Yeah,
if
I
you just
see.
if you just place them in the right angle against each other, they create a really nice
I have to say,
roof.
that's like much cheaper way than crafting loads of those elsewhere platforms, isn't
Yeah,
it?
definitely.
Yeah.
And of course, one of the reasons that makes it look really believable, or you probably get the feeling that this structure was here for a long time. It's not a very new thing, because I wanted to make sure vines are covering on their sides, or even you can see that the vines on this side are actually wrapping around the imperial banner. So you can. I wanted to give you the feeling you could be an imperial soldier here, having a camp, but since the doors like forest is quite dense around you and you are below, uh, it gives that some kind of dangerous feeling that you are not safe.
Yeah.
So you can see that Imperials were having quite hard with their blocking their walls, their towers. Yeah,
Yeah, great.
it's my outpost where the trade is being checked, controlled. Sure, making sure people have the papers.
Yeah.
Usual stuff.
Oh, it's amazing. Oh, I can't get over these spikes, this like archway things. They look amazing. I think it's
These,
this rope tied around them. They just look really great.
yeah, their random placement could be used in many different ideas.
It's like Neb and Kitten built their boat out of them. I've never thought of using them for anything before.
Yeah.
They're great.
So it would look like our camp is kind of blocked here.
Ah, yeah, this
The,
is cool.
the exit part is also being protected.
Mm.
And I also had to place a lot of items back there to give the feeling of the road continues in the dense forest.
Yeah, and rather than
Like
it just being empty.
the trees, torches, and such. But
Yeah. How many
I want
items have you used here? All of them?
this house has 600
Mm.
slots, and I used all of them.
Yeah. It looks like more
But,
than 600 though. It looks
yeah,
huge again. Like the last one, it was huge.
but of course, I didn't want, as I said in the beginning, I didn't want this to be just an imperial camp. There had to be some story going. There had to be some plot twist.
Mm.
So I added this secret cave part.
Very nice. Exciting.
Imperials wouldn't be aware of this passage. And actually many people miss this, surprisingly. I thought it is quite easy to catch, but this is the part that you start noticing. Imperials are not alone.
Ah. Is it wood elves up here?
Osmer are, of course,
Spying on
present.
us.
And I thought that they wouldn't be happy about having Imperials in the forest. So they are watching them from above.
Mm.
And maybe you would notice that the reason that cart was broken down wasn't an accident. It was
Ah.
Osmer probably sabotaging them.
Ah, that's really cool. This is very cool too, the log.
So I added those.
Oh no, don't fall. Ah, sorry.
I added those little watchtower-like points where you can look down on the road. And also on your left, you can see the big Osmer boathouses.
Ah, yeah. That fits in really well now too, knowing that Bosma are up here
Yeah,
spying.
yeah. So it gives you the feeling that Imperials down there are not aware of anything, but
Mm.
they don't know Bosmer are just right in front of their nose. So
Ah, that is
uh,
so cool.
it kind of creates the effect of oh damn, they are here.
Mm.
We could also check this part before we go for the second road,
Okay.
which is where our Bosmer will be spending their time in this cave.
Ah, that's so cute. We've got like a Bosma house in here. Kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
This is one of the items that we don't normally have, but I thought that it will be possible to create it with combinations of different items we can place.
Mm. Yeah, that is so cool.
This,
Like a big cooking pot.
yeah, you
I'm.
could see this in the game, but
Yeah.
yeah, you had to place a lot of singular items to have the same feeling.
Yeah, that is cool. I love the kind of air that comes off of this sensor. It
Oh
usually
yeah,
has a light in it, doesn't it? Is it turned off?
yes, you can actually light it up, and it
Oh.
becomes a little bit more clear. But I don't know. I prefer to keep it
Yeah.
like this
Yeah, it's really cool.
because it looks a little bit awkward to me that
Yeah, it's on
uh,
fire.
fire is on fire. Like, are you cooking fire?
They burnt their food.
My first intention was to put a very big or self-made Bosmer throne, but I didn't want to use the wood elf throne that we have in the game. I wanted something more like a Caelnir throne, with a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
I was going to do that, but at the same time, it didn't feel right because I had to make this place feeling a lot of Bosmer are living here, not just one or two.
Mm.
So I scrapped
Yeah.
that idea and went for a more bigger place where more Bosmer can spend their time. So it makes you feel uh, there's a lot of Bosmer actually here living.
Mm.
And I don't know, maybe I can use the throne that we may get in Greymore.
Yeah.
Because when I saw the throne in your video,
Mm.
I was like, oh, damn, that I could use that throne in that cave. But
Yeah.
who knows? Because it was actually a throne that I was expecting to see
Yeah. It's going to be very exciting getting those items next week. What are
go
these?
from this.
What are these? Are they tusks from that mammoth? They're not, are they?
No, they are. I can actually also show you. Yeah, it's, this item just synced into
Oh. Wow.
rocks.
Yeah, that's great. It looks like tusks, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
It looks really good.
So uh, I could actually just remove that item from there, but when I put nothing there, people don't really see that there's actually a tunnel. Like
Mm.
it's easy to miss. So
Yeah.
I had to put an item there that makes a contrast with the coloring.
Yeah, it kind of
Uh,
looks a bit like an archway, like, oh, we can go
yeah.
down there. Yeah.
So in all that rocks, vines, I had something distinctive that tells a little bit more about Bosmer.
Mm.
So makes you see that there's another path here.
Ah.
Probably nearly in all of my houses, you don't have to press space to get somewhere. So you can just walk from this part without, like, yes.
Yeah.
Usually everyone tries to use the left side of the tree and always they are trying to jump. But
Yeah, that's cool though that you don't have to.
yeah, I'm just really obsessive about giving that smooth
Mm.
discovering experience rather than making people jump there and there randomly. But yeah,
Yeah.
I really like the vision you get when you look at the cave,
Yeah, the view is beautiful here.
especially when it's like raining like this and
Mm.
the weather is getting darker. So yeah, it really sets the scene in a completely different way. Like first we were looking down at the imperial mine, but the imperials were
Mm.
drilling down, and now it's like completely a different house with a different theme. It
Yeah.
was one of the things that I wanted to also challenge myself with two different races in one house thing,
Yeah.
because people are, well, I also do that a lot, going for single theme because it's
Mm.
a little bit easier to immerse yourself and just go for the full um, like just dedicate yourself to that race and that feeling they have. But
Mm.
for this one, I just wanted to go for, okay, I'm just gonna make a imperial camp, but also a Bosmer living space in one house. And thankfully, I
Yeah.
could, I guess, manage it with 600 slots.
Yeah, it's brilliant. You're so good at like spreading your items out and making your places just look really like they're part of the game.
I'm.
I don't know how you managed to fill so much up with 600 items. It's insane.
It
And
might sound silly, but when I'm building, I'm non-stop calculating.
oh, really?
Like, okay, if I use 20 slots for this spot, then
Yeah.
I should have like 30 slots for the other corner. And
Okay.
if I don't have enough, then I'm trying to change the details around to balance the feeling.
Because everywhere you look in here is interesting. And yet you used all of your items. I just don't know how you've done that. It's amazing. Really good.
Thank you. So yeah, that's the, pretty much what our story is for this house.
Yeah, the story is great.
I could just port my third one,
Okie
which
dokie.
is Lake Myers Zanmere Manor.
Okay, cool.
So for this house, idea always comes first. Like what I was thinking before I even start making this. Um, I always wanted to create. Well, I like making towns, and I also have some other houses that I did them.
Mm.
But for this one in particular, I wanted to have really like swampy feeling town
Yeah.
with some boats going in the middle. Like it was supposed to be a lake town, and we were again discussing with a friend of mine. Um, we were trying to pick a house, and Lake Myers and Mir was our final decision.
Mm.
And of course, we were checking the ideas, pictures, what we want to achieve look wise. And of course, you might remember the lake town from The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Uh, it was pretty much what I wanted to create. Well, of course, I couldn't make something that big, but at least I could have a similar feeling from there and there.
Yeah. I'll be there in a moment. Okay. This is really cool. This is blocking off the house here, isn't it? It's behind the wall.
Yeah. Well, of course, the challenge for this house was the lake was up above where we are. It was
Mm.
quite far away from the entrance. So I had to get there. Like, I don't like to skip the entrance and force people to one way with
Mm.
just blocking the way. Like, the house should start as soon as you enter. So
Yeah.
I had to come up with a story that is gonna lead me to the town. And the challenge was, as I said, well, it's quite far.
Mm.
And in Lake Meyer, there is a waterfall that you have to pass. And then you reach to the lake part that I want to create the city on. So
Yeah.
the sewer idea was probably the best because you have this knee height water here.
Ah, yeah. That is cool. Yeah.
Of course, elsewhere platforms help a lot to get this place done with minimal slots that I can
Mm.
use. So,
Tiny little beggar sleeping down here as well.
yep, and
The Caelnir maiden.
of course, what you expect from a homeless person, like reading something intellectual. And yeah, I just wanted to. this part was actually a huge challenge for me. Like, it was probably the biggest challenge because I wanted to keep it to feel like a sewer, but I had this waterfall, I had all this water, and I had to get up there somehow. I probably spent few hours here. Like,
I can imagine, and trying to save your items as well.
yeah, I guess I tried to make this path for like 4 or 5 hours.
Wow.
Make the path up there in a believable way, not just strict like putting the planks and going up there wouldn't just cut it for me. So I had to still keep it in a realistic way. So I had those. I just come up with those multiple levels. Like they had to feel like those are built later on in the sewers by the people who lives in here.
Yeah. So like they've put these ladders and things here to get to
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to cut this waterfall because it was giving or really adding to the scenery.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And because of the town we have upper wall,
Okay.
I just want to keep the water flowing and make people see it, like where it starts and where it goes.
Yeah, that's great. How you have this like plank going over. Yeah, no, it's really nice.
It makes you think more like you're not supposed to be here, feeling.
Yeah. And so here's your turn.
Mm-hmm. As you continue, like you finally get out of the sewers.
Yeah, this is so pretty. Do you have music box in here? Yeah.
No, I don't actually.
I'm just gonna turn my audio up because there's noise in here. I'm sure there is. It sounds like music. Like different music to the normal game music, is there?
Really?
I don't know.
Interesting, but maybe it's the in-game music? I don't know.
It must be the in-game music. It just sounds different. Sorry.
Yeah. Like when you look to the town from where we are, when there was like 0 furnishings placed here, I was standing right here and then imagining this, like exactly this picture.
That's great.
And I just, when I started to place items, can I make it? Can I achieve it? Like, does it? It was like putting the places of puzzle one by one and see if it's gonna happen. Like, I was really close to scrapping it because at first I couldn't manage it at all. But once I started to put the right pieces, it was like, okay, it's getting there. It's gonna get there. And as I started to build, you could notice this house has actually really special effects that you can use. The first one is the reflections you see in the water.
Yeah.
Like, you can actually see the whole scenery mirrors into the water.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
That's one of the reasons there. I used 2 or 3 pieces that is gonna distinguish from the background, which is, you probably see it in the water as well, the mushroom, the statue in the middle, and the house on the left.
Yeah, that looks so nice. And the water has like a light coming off it, doesn't it? The boat's got like a shimmer.
Yeah, that was the second effect that I was going to mention.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'll probably forget it if you didn't. But That is the second one. The green reflections you see are really cool. Like
Yes.
they are more visible during night, but even now you could see them like dancing on the green walls of the houses and the
So nice.
balls.
Yeah. Really pretty. And the lily pads are cool too. You don't have to add anything to them.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to keep them in the scene as well because
Yeah, they look very nice.
it's not very pretty town, so having those lily pads kind of gives that cozy feeling.
Mm. The mushrooms look really cool too. You don't see many people using the mushrooms like that, do you? Just like,
Yeah,
yeah, growing.
so that kind of brings us the theme that I was going for. First, making another Breton or imperialish house was my intention,
Mm.
but well, since my main character is Dunmer and I love Dunmer,
Mm.
and no one really makes Dunmer houses, I was really getting pissed about it. Like, come on, like someone make a really cool Dunmer house, and I was really tempted to give up on the Breton furnishings and okay, I'm going for Dunmer.
Mm.
That was the kind of moment that I decided to go for the Lalo Great House theme.
That's cool.
Because,
I did notice your statue was Dunmer.
yeah, because the houses you see here are not 100% Dunmerish. They're kind of imperial like structures.
Mm.
And House Hilalo is known for their close relationships with imperials, which might you remember from Morrowind, Seydanin
Mm.
town.
Yeah.
You could see structures like this there as well. So it's still an idea that keeps giving you this is a Dunmer town feeling.
I really like that tree. Is that part of the house? The tree behind
Which one?
the tree behind the statue.
Uh yes, it is actually a part of the house.
It's great. I love it. It's all
Definitely.
twisty. Sorry. Yeah, I like that. Oh, I love this. You can see all of the washing hanging up there.
Yeah, they seem
Right.
to be fitting perfectly there. So this
Mm.
is kind of a little back street area where you can see people are busy around the well or some homeless people are gambling here.
Mm.
Someone was probably bidding horribly, giving a cheese for a coin. What you can do when you're desperate. And still, as you walk, you can see all the lights are still glittering.
Yeah. Yeah, that's brilliant. I love that.
As I kept building here and noticed that all those green lights are not being blocked by the furnishings you place.
Mm.
So, well, it was a bit of a downside for me, but if you or if anyone decides to do a full sewer building here, it fits perfectly
Yeah, I can imagine.
because all the lights are glittering still inside. They don't getting blocked no matter what you put.
Mm. It's so pretty. This light.
Yeah, and in the end, I was really happy to make
Ah,
this personal area for my Dunmer.
that building's so cool over there. It almost looks like a warehouse or something. Is that what it's supposed to be?
Which one? Sorry.
The big one. kind of looks like a warehouse or something.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hmm. I like how you make your rooms smaller and not like huge.
Uh,
I
it's
I
also
always feel uncomfortable when I walk into a room and it's enormous. I like it like nice and cozy.
it's also a trick to spend less item slots for the houses you make. If you make them big, then you're gonna burn a lot of slots. If you make them smaller, they're gonna serve to the purpose, and you won't be spending too much item slots on them.
I like the little trunk hidden under the bed.
Actually, everyone mentions it. Like they say they really like it because it's one of those details that makes you think the person who lives here is actually real, because it
Yeah.
makes you feel that it was obvious that he was trying to hide that chest. He was pushing it, but not pushing it strong enough, but you still can see it.
What's he hiding in there?
Yeah. And you can see that I'm not sure, but yeah, at least on the roof, you can see the green light
Ah, yeah.
flickering as well. And of course, halal banners all over. These parts are when I wanted to get that lake town feeling, the one I mentioned from The Hobbit.
Mm. Oh, this is really nice. I like the bridge.
I had to like make some kind of path there that makes you go across.
Mm.
If I did it too low, then it will be blocking to the boats. And if I made too high, it wouldn't make sense. So I think this is the perfect level you can go on.
Mm. And the path looks really cool to get there too.
Yeah, it's very visible. Like you can actually see where you can go up from there, and
Mm.
on the other side you can see the ladder that you can go down. So
Yeah.
it's not really looking like a maze.
Yeah.
And I think everyone noticed that I'm really big fan of creating believable, realistic, lore-friendly houses without getting too much out of ESO's style.
Mm.
So that creates the effect of this looks like a place in game feeling, which really makes me happy because that's what I'm trying to go for.
Yeah, it does. All of your houses just look like they fit into the game. They're great.
And here is our little
Ah,
tavern.
it's heaven. Oh, this is cool. I like how you like don't use loads of items, but it looks great. Like it shows you don't have to clutter places up too much.
Yeah, and there's also another sweet spot for it. If you clutter the corner too much, it starts looking unrealistic.
Mm.
Like of course, if you are aiming for it, go for it. But if you are trying to create something simple, uh, we are not really rich people, so you don't really need too much items to reflect what you are trying to say.
Mm.
And if you noticed, for this corner, I have like 3 light sources. And it's like only 2 candles and 1 oven.
Mm.
And it's really normally not much, but it serves the purpose. And one of the reasons that I actually put the stove in that angle,
Mm.
like if you can come a little bit behind, and I'm gonna now change the stove's angle to us.
Yeah,
See,
it doesn't look as good.
you are losing all the reflection on the wall, on the furnishings.
Mm.
But
Plus,
if I put it back, you will see that orange color coming back.
mm. Yeah.
So that really makes it really cozy
Yeah, that
and
changes it
realistic.
a lot, having the stove
Yeah,
facing that way.
makes your character's face light up by the fire instead of 5 different candles.
Yeah, that's great.
I just wanted to mention it because it's just a good example to let people know you don't need too much light.
Yeah, definitely. It's very helpful. Because I know a lot of people who've said that they've spent half of their slots on lights in some houses.
And some little gambling area with some people probably eating or drinking. And I really wanted to have the tavern right at this spot because of waterfalls.
The view up from the balcony is really
Yeah,
nice.
you had to use this scene. I had to.
Yeah, beautiful.
So yeah, and the sound of waterfalls really also add to the atmosphere.
Yeah, I'd quite like to drink in this pub myself. Great thing here. The
Yeah, I
waterfalls.
imagine having a bottle of wine there.
Yeah, that would be great. It's pretty cool.
Since we are here, we could just go across. And this is another cool spot where you can take a look at the scene.
Yeah, this is really pretty.
On this side, there are waterfalls. I also wanted to place another mushroom up there to give that Morrowind feeling a little bit more.
Mm.
And if you look at the other side, where our warehouses are, and you can see my desperate attempt of blocking the Zanmir. Like I tried to block it as much as I could
Oh,
with
with
the
the mushrooms.
warehouses. Yeah, but the top of the Zanmir is actually behind the mushroom.
Mm.
So, well, since I hit the important parts, um, even if you see the parts of the Zanmir, they kind of feel like some random buildings in the city.
Yeah, yeah, they do.
With some work area or fishermen.
Very nice, like the bloody bandages.
Well, yeah, I used the bloody bandages there, but it kind of looks like I
Yeah,
don't know. It could be like bandages or maybe some guts of fish.
yeah,
Like however you take it, really.
and I guess the fish will bleed when you cut them up, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
and probably some random details like our boat siding to the dock for some goods.
Oh, that's cool.
I want to place some kind of structure between the waterfalls. But I didn't want it to be too big because I think it will be looking kind of off.
Yeah, ruin the view. You didn't want to ruin your
Yeah, waterfalls are quite strong, and you don't really want to build something important next to them.
Yeah.
So I just went with a small house instead.
Yeah, it's cute.
For me, housing is kind of like painting, if we can relate to that.
Mm.
You have some basic rules when you are drawing something, or when you are putting some paint on canvas.
Yeah.
You need some areas that you want to put a little bit more detail on, and you need some areas that you have some more space, some areas that can
Yeah.
actually breathe a bit more.
Yeah, the places you
And
want more focus on too.
yes, exactly. So you need to find that balance somehow. Not only for the whole house, but actually when you are working on a counter, on a table, you just need right colors. If I'm building something that, like this like dogs and stones, they all are looking brown, green, brown, pretty much around those colors.
Yeah.
So if I was sticking for that kind of colors too much, then it would look repetitive. It kind of start looking boring. So that's the moment when you need some little colors that makes things a little bit interesting. So that's the reason why you see uh, different colored mushrooms or those fruits in the boat, and even this orange tree in the distance. Those
Yeah.
things um, kind of saves the painting from being boring.
Yeah, they add something interesting and pretty and
Yeah,
bright. Something to draw your eye. This is so cool. I like this vegetable thing. It's like really simple, but it's really cute. I love it.
it's a simple one. You just uh, like I had nothing else to put this on, and I was like, okay, if I was actually working in PC here, how I would place it? All right, just put some support crates and put it on top of them.
It looks brilliant on those crates. I love that. This is just incredible. Did this take you a few days as well?
This took me like 3 days. Yeah.
I'm so jealous of this fishing boat.
Well, they're really worth to get, I think. Master Angler achievement is not. It's not as bad as people think. I mean, there are moments where you hate your life, but you will get there.
That sounds like fun. I love the gate.
Oh yeah. Well, obviously for such town, you need a gate for those boats where they could enter. And yeah, this alchemy shop is my third enterable place in this town. As you may have noticed, I have quite a few fake buildings here which you can't enter inside, but
Yeah.
as I said before, I'm trying to make everything interactable.
Yeah, it looks brilliant. I don't think it matters. I loved it. I think I asked you before about this curtain tent, isn't it? The red
Yes.
the Dunlop.
Yeah, this is the Dunmer tent actually. It happened really accidentally. I didn't have this tent. Like, I just had the Merkmeyer walls and Argonian tents for the roofs.
Mm.
And I just crafted this Dark Elf tent. And I was trying random spots where I can put this, where I can have this, some kind of, just trying to make something out of it. And I was like, okay, maybe I can put this in front of this alchemy shop, so it could create this nice tent for the front door. I put it, and I entered inside. I was like, oh, what the hell? Like, I wasn't expecting to have the curtains here inside. And I don't know how it happened, but it fit perfectly. Like,
It does. It looks really, really cool. I'm sure lots of people are confused when they come in and see these curtains.
yeah, I'm getting that question a lot. Like, oh, which curtains are those?
Yeah, it looks brilliant. Really cool.
And yeah, I was trying to make a second bridge somewhere here, but it kept breaking the scenery.
Yeah.
It was blocking a bit too much, and I couldn't make it look natural enough to go across. So I just decided to not do it at all and just put this plank. So it would look like something workers put when they need to go across and lift it up when boat needs to pass.
Yeah. This is so nice. Beautiful.
And yeah, it just makes it more realistic when items feels like someone put it there, you know it. Like it's not placed by whoever is furnished this house, but someone was using that broom, someone was using that plank.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It just feels like it's part of the game again. Like all of your others.
Definitely.
It's amazing. The view from here is really pretty, isn't it?
Yeah,
I love
it's like
it.
that's actually why I put this chair here, because it's really a spot that you would just want to sit and enjoy the view of it.
Yeah. Wow.
Another thing that I'm being a little bit too careful about is when you are going in those closed areas or little rooms, your camera shouldn't be pushed from side to side too much. Like if you make areas too small, or if you are placing items that actually makes the area feel cramped,
Yeah, it does
you're
make your camera funny,
yeah,
doesn't
you kind of start getting that dizzy feeling, like okay, oh, where am
Yeah,
I?
it
Like,
starts
oh, what am I
forcing you
looking at?
into first person every few
Yeah,
minutes.
like
Yeah.
when I'm like entering this, okay, if I move my camera around, does it feel nice? Like, is it giving me that dizzy feeling? But
Yeah,
just
that's the
testing it
main
as
thing.
well. And if I'm getting that feeling, I'm raising up the ceiling.
Yeah, you can walk around in here.
And there's one last Easter egg spot here.
Oh, like we got a secret area again.
I wasn't sure about that idea. Another friend of mine gave me this idea, so I'm gonna give it credit.
Okay.
Apparently, there is a spot behind this waterfall which might be useful for other people who owns this house.
Oh, yeah. About brotherhood.
Yeah, I wanted something. Uh, I wanted to have something that you don't expect to be here.
Mm,
Something totally different from the house, and the idea was
mm.
to put the night mother door, which actually makes perfect sense because since this is behind the
Yeah.
waterfall, it would
Yeah.
make you question again: like, does the people in the town knows about the store or not at all?
Yeah.
Like, are
Very
there
cool.
Dark Brotherhood members living in the town, or this store was forgotten long ago? You don't know.
Yeah, that's cool. You like your secret areas, don't you?
Definitely, because it creates another nice feeling.
Yeah, it does.
If a visitor finds the spot, they're gonna feel rewarded.
Yeah, it's like a little extra thing. It's great.
Yeah, and also even if they don't find it, they won't be missing much. But if they do, uh, it's like rewarding the
For
paying attention
exploring.
to
Yeah.
detail. Yeah,
Yeah, it's great.
yeah, that's
That's
uh,
all of it. Is there
my whole
anything else?
house.
Is there anything else you want to say about your houses or anything?
Well, I'm thinking, but well, as I said, probably the most question I hear is, what is your approach when it comes to making houses look that realistic or believable? I told already many of them, but yeah, like last few things I could say is, or maybe advice, if you call it that,
Yeah.
just think or plan it before you start furnishing. Like, and just don't go for it as you start placing items because it never really works. Even if
Mm.
it does, even if it does, it's gonna be a lesser version of what you could create. I think
Mm.
at least that's what I believe. Because you
Yeah,
just
I agree with you. Like to plan stuff. That's why I never
yeah,
finish anything if I don't.
because even if I started making, let's say, just this house, I was thinking maybe for weeks, like what I want to have, what kind of feeling, uh, what colors I want, many things like that. And
Yeah.
one day it just starts adding and adding and adding to each other, and then for this house, like my friend was like, "Okay, I think you should go for it now." I was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna start." Like, it might look like a house that you do in 3 days, but there's a lot of thought process going on behind
No,
this.
it looks like it's taken you months. It's incredible. I can't believe you did this in 3 days. It's really great. Really
Yeah, it's just
amazing.
I think it will help people a lot more if they ever want to achieve something similar.
Definitely. I think that you probably helped loads of people with your advice. Very helpful. Thank you very much for that.
My pleasure.
So, is that
Always.
everything? Is there anything else
Yeah.
you want to say? Yeah?
No, not really. That's pretty much all.
Okay. So I guess we're done then. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found this video as interesting and helpful as I did. And I hope that you loved Caelnir's houses as much as I did. I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.